Hi guys, today we're going to be making a whiskey barrel cake. Now this cake does contain alcohol, but you can always make it without. It's more of an advanced cake, but I'm sure we'll have fun making it together. Now I did record this actually a year ago for my husband's birthday, and I'm so happy that I did because it's such a fun cake to make. So let's get started.
Let's get ready to bake. Remember to screenshot this recipe if you'd like to follow along. Remember to bring your eggs and butter to room temperature. Using my husband's favorite whiskey here, but you can choose whichever whiskey you'd like. Remember, baking does burn off most of the alcohol content, but not all, so this is definitely a cake for adults only. Whisk the cocoa powder, coffee, whiskey, and butter. Whisk over low heat. Combine your flour, baking soda, salt, pepper, and cloves. Whisk in your eggs and fold in the dark chocolate chips into your batter. And there you have it. I did double up the recipe to make enough to complete my barrel. Level your cakes to approximately 1 inch to 1.5 inches in height. Dam each layer with chocolate buttercream and fill with chocolate whiskey ganache. I included walnuts for a little extra crunch and flavor. I also included the whiskey ganache recipe later in this video. Check the timestamp below to skip ahead. Also, don't forget to add a little syrup to your cake to retain its moisture. I usually like to chill the cake a bit between each layer I fill to keep the structure of my cake and let the dam solidify so it'll be sure not to spill out the sides. This does take a little longer, but it's just my preference. Yes guys, this cake is 5 layers high. Now I did make that top layer a little shorter than the rest. Remember to fill in any visible gaps. I chose not to dowel this cake. It's a pretty dense cake and it's an 8-inch round, so I didn't feel I needed it. Now had this been another recipe or filling, I may have. Use a warm spatula and smooth your sides down. Let's get ready to carve. I know taking that first cut into your cake can be nerve-wracking, but remember to go slow and take small cuts out of your cake at a time. I know this is one of the longer segments to my videos, but it is one of the most important steps. You can use a picture for reference while carving your cake. Follow this recipe to make the chocolate whiskey ganache. Looks and tastes delicious. Here I used the ganache I had left over from the filling to crumb coat my barrel. Now it's time to crumb coat and chill. I nearly forgot this important step here. Use your cake scraper and smooth out any rough edges. Get it as smooth as possible, then chill your cake. Once chilled, I added a layer of buttercream and chilled it just a little bit more. Here are my edible images. I did edit the labels to read my hubby's birth year. These are great to use to get that authentic look. Peel your labels carefully. Edible images tend to be very delicate. Use sugar glue or water to adhere your label to the gum paste. Let them air dry to make them easier to manipulate. I know this looks a little scary, but no fingers were lost cutting these labels out. I did cut smaller labels to use on some cigar accents I'll be adding to the cake later. Add a small amount of flesh tone gel food coloring to create this light ivory color to your fondant. Use an impression mat to create a wood grain finish. Cut your fondant into large strips and place onto your chilled cake. Make deeper impressions along your cake with your fondant tool. Remember, you'll be airbrushing over the impressions to give it a more realistic wood look. Now time for my favorite part, airbrushing. Here's where your cake really comes alive. I used a filtered approach starting with a light yellow sheen. I apply thin translucent layers and go a little bit darker with each color. I start with a yellow color, then transition to orange, then ultimately a light brown color. Okay guys, we're not quite done yet. Now we add a dark brown airbrush and concentrate on the grain as seen here to finish off your barrel. I added dark brown fondant strips to my cake and added the edible images. I airbrushed the edges of those as well, and I made some fondant cigars. One of my favorite parts of this cake is the cigars. I love the realistic look to them. And here she is, all finished. I really loved how she turned out. Thank you for following along with me. This cake did take quite a while to finish, but it was all worth it in the end. Next clip shows the birthday boy / whiskey enthusiast enjoying his cake. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I have new cake and pastry videos in the work, so stay tuned. Also, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Sweet Bees to see and follow more of my work. Thanks again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Danny. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Make a wish.
Again? Okay. Came back.
What would you wish for, Dan?
Yeah, I sneezed at one time.
Oh, they came back? I did, huh?